Our second video on the second commandment, we turn our attention now to this thought about tarnishing God's reputation. So just to refresh ourselves, the second commandment, you shall not misuse the name of the Lord your God. What does this mean? We should fear and love God. So there's that fear and love. Of course, trust is implied there. We should fear and love God so that we do not curse, swear, use satanic arts, practice superstition, witchcraft, lie, or deceive by his name. So we're uncovering a little bit of what we ought not to do and the various ways, and of course it's not all inclusive, but the various ways that we often find people breaking this commandment. So let's talk a little bit about tarnishing God's reputation as Martin Luther would uncover it in the way of cursing. Luther says we should not use the name of the Lord God to curse. To curse is to call on God's name and to condemn, to damn something or someone. So, have you ever seen anyone or heard anyone do that? Sadly, people do this a lot. I'll give you various examples of it. So, and if there are young ears among us here listening into the video, there are times where bringing across examples of this is good in teaching. So use your discretion as you hear these things. But here's what people often say, which is very common in our day and age, where people use God's name to curse. People might say, God damn it. Or people might say, go to hell if they're really angry with someone. Or just damn it in general. Or they might even say, Jesus Christ. Or they lace that with other expletives, other swear words. All of those ways, just for a moment, just think about what's being said. People are calling on the true God to cast someone or something into hell. Now, is that what God desires? And then when we're talking about insignificant things, how foolish is that to call on God to do the most extreme thing in judgment on something as little as maybe smashing a thumb with a hammer and asking God to condemn the hammer. But it happens all the time. It becomes so common in our everyday language. I want you to think about that and just kind of ask yourself, what do you think, what impression would people get if they saw you as a Christian using God's name like that to curse? What kind of idea are they going to have of God? As you think about that, I want to read to you this passage from Romans 2:24. It says, God's name is blasphemed among the Gentiles because of you. That is to say, God's name is dishonored. People reject it. Why? Well, because the witnesses of his name, they do the very same things. They drag God's name through the mud by what they say and do. So this is, again, speaking to the consequences of not honoring God's name. What thoughts come to mind when people hear us use God's name in such a way? Blessings on your conversation here, and we're going to jump into this a little bit more in the preceding videos.